Hello guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Victoria Ajayi Bembe. If you're new here, welcome. Thank you so much for joining me. To all my subscribers, thank you guys so very much. I am so grateful. Thank you for joining this wonderful family. And if you're yet to subscribe to my channel, please make sure you click on the subscribe button down below. Okay, click on the button down below to join this wonderful family. Okay, all right. Okay, today I want to talk to you guys about a topic that I am very passionate about. I mean, if you know me very well, you know that teenage empowerment or teenage development is one of the social issues that I am so much passionate about, and I try to educate people as much as I can about this, about how to have a very good relationship with your teenager. You might be a parent who is trying to build a good relationship with your teenager, or you might be maybe an elder sister who doesn't know how to communicate with your teenage sister or brother. Anyone who wants to, or who find yourself in a relationship with a teenager, I mean, you may not have a teenage daughter now, but in the future you might have one. You may not have a teenager right now, but your child is going to be a teenager someday. You might have a teenage niece or nephew. You might have, you never can tell, one way or the other, you are going to have an encounter with a teenager. So how do you communicate? How do you build a good relationship with your teenager? Now, I would be touching on both genders, but I will be specifically be talking about girls. Okay, I'll be touching on boys too, but this will most likely be on girls, mostly because I am a girl and I have been a teenage girl, and I know what it feels like, or some of the challenges that we pass through, so I will be able to talk about that. But that does not mean that the boys don't also need to be attended to. Of course they do. Okay, and I'm sure there are videos on YouTube about the guys, but I feel like the teenage girls, trust me, we have a lot of issues. There are a lot of things that we are facing whilst being a teenager, that I think a lot of parents should take cognizance of. Okay, so a little disclaimer before I go on. I also want to make it clear that I am not talking from the perspective of a parent, neither am I talking from the perspective of a psychologist or of a therapist. Okay, I am neither of those things yet. But I'll be talking from the perspective of someone who has been a teenager and who understands what it feels like to be a teenager, or especially a teenage girl. And I will be talking to you guys about things to watch out for, how to communicate better with your teenager, and how to build a solid relationship with your teenager. Okay, and I also feel like this will be very helpful, especially to the African parents, because I was brought up in Africa and I see the way a lot of parents communicate or interact, or even the kind of relationship that parents have with their teenager, and it's mostly not healthy or not helpful. Okay, so I'll be taking you guys through some of my experiences as a teenager, and some of the things that I think you can learn from it, and some of the things I feel like you should watch out for when trying to build a relationship with a teenager, even as teachers. Okay, if you teach teenagers, you also need to hear some of the things that I'm talking about. All right, let's get into it. Now, we all know that the teenage years is the years that it's almost like you don't know who this person is, this child you just gave birth to. It's like a spirit just all of a sudden just possessed her or him, and they've just become somebody else. Your sweet little angel who was always obedient, who would say thank you when a little thing is done, who would say I'm sorry. Your little girl who every little gift you give to her or him always seems like something big and everything, and all of a sudden they're this person that nothing you do is ever right. Like, they just become moody all of a sudden, they're disrespectful, they're following boys, they are doing a lot of things, and you're wondering what on earth has possessed this little girl of mine. And honestly, that can be very frustrating as parents. But I also want to encourage every parent, don't be too hard on yourself. If your teenager is putting up attitude, or not being obedient, or not or for instance get pregnant, or anything happens, don't be too hard on yourself. Because I know a lot of parents, they become so hard, and they'll be like, where did I go wrong? What did I do wrong? Why have you done this? Or why is my teenage daughter acting this way? I failed as a parent, and saying all sorts of things. Sometimes it's not about you, sometimes it is about you, but sometimes it is not about you. Okay, so don't be too hard on yourself. So I don't know if you ever wonder, why is it that, when you hear cases of depression, of anxiety, of suicide, of, sexual assault, of rape, and all of those things, it's usually with teenagers. Okay, why is it that, you know, especially for my African parents, you know, because we have this notion that, you know, if you don't use cane and discipline your child and everything, they'll become wayward and all of those things, and which is true to some certain extent. Okay, but to my African parent, why is it that with the amount of discipline and the amount of beating and everything you give to your children, you know, there's still a high degree or high rate of unwanted pregnancies, of teenage rebellion, you know, in Africa? Now, the contrast to this are those people that feel like, oh, it's because African parents discipline their children too much that make them become more wayward. Okay, but you know, that also is not true, because when you come to the United States, for instance, and other European countries, you find a lot of teenagers who are, you know, drug abusers, who are, you know, rapists, who, you know, when you hear, you know, someone goes into a grocery shop and starts shooting people, it's most likely a teenager. They are mostly teenagers. A teenager killed the father, a teenager, you know, raped a girl. You will hear a lot of things that are happening amongst teenagers, even in the so-called developed world. So I don't feel like it's an African problem or an American problem or a European problem. I feel like this is something that everybody goes through, okay? Because teenagers everywhere, we might be different with different culture and everything, but when it comes to our body, when it comes to the biology of it and the psychological impact of it, we all go through the same thing, okay? So, and I feel like maybe if parents get to, you know, understand or get to remember how it feels like or how it was like for them when they were teenagers, they'll be able to better understand how to, you know, communicate with, or how to have a better relationship with their teenagers. Okay, so I don't want to like dwell too much on this, so let us just go into it. What are some of the ways in which you can build a very good relationship with your teenager? The first thing I would say is that learn to listen. This, I feel like, is the bedrock of everything. You need to learn to listen to your teenagers. And I feel like this is a problem, especially for parents, because they feel like, I know what is best for you. I know what you're supposed to do. So I don't need to listen to you. You need to listen to me. And we have this thing in Africa where we say that children are supposed to be seen, not heard. Okay, so teenagers are asked to keep quiet, not to speak up when they are passing through challenges or when they disagree with something, okay? And all of those things just goes on to make them repress their feelings. If you don't listen to them, what you're doing is you are making them to keep things inside of them, and that's what eventually leads to depression, that leads to anxiety, that leads to suicide. Okay, so you need to learn to listen. And I feel like some parents, or most parents, you know, you lose sight of the fact that your children are only with you for a short period of time, and the teenage years, you know, is going to determine a lot in the outcome of the life of your child or of the kind of adults that they are going to become. So it's very, very important that you learn to listen to them. Let them share their ideas with you. I know you know what is right, or you think you know what is right, or you feel like you know what is right. And most times, to be honest, you know what is right for your teenagers, but they also want to explore. They want to share their ideas. They also have opinions. They also have questions that they need to ask, okay? And you need to listen to them. I don't know if I should even share this example, but I remember the very first day I saw two people kissing. I'm not going to say who they are. I saw them kissing. I was a teenager and I felt like this is not right because they are not married, okay? And I remember I went to my dad. I mean, my dad was, you know, it was amazing, but, you know, he had his own side. But, you know, I went to him that day. No, I didn't go because, I don't know, I didn't go. I sent my brother, who was younger, you know, to go and tell my dad that we saw this person and this person kissing, and I feel like he should do something about it. And do you know what my father's response was? It was, what do you know about kissing? Who told you what kissing is? Instead of you to focus on your book and, you know, and get good grades, you are here talking about, you know, somebody kissing. And you know, ever since then, I feel like I'm in therapy right now. But you know, ever since that moment, I was unable to go to them when I see something that is wrong. So imagine if this person was actually, you know, God forbid, my sister, or for instance, was being raped or was doing something wrong, or someone was deceiving her, and, you know, anything, I won't be able to go to them, because the last time I told them about somebody who was kissing somebody, you know, they rebuked me. So you need to know how to listen to them. Let them share their ideas. Let them share their questions. Have this, and I feel like the point 1 and point 2 is the same. Have an open and welcoming environment or attitude towards them, such that they can approach you with their questions. They can let you know when they are confused, because trust me, teenagers are confused. We are confused. We are dealing with a lot of issues, because that's when we are moving from being children or being a child to, we have hormones running in our bodies, you know, our bodies are developing, changes are happening, and not only physically, even emotionally, we are beginning to feel emotions that we did not used to feel. Because for a child, you know, when we're young, when you are hungry, you cry or you throw tantrums and mom is going to attend to you. But now everybody somehow feel like because you are a teenager, because you are grown, you should not cry when you are hungry, or when you are angry, you should know how to communicate. They feel like at this point you should know what you want to study in school. Which class do you want to be? Do you want to be a science student or an art student or this and that? So you're trying to like navigate all of these things, and at the same time you're having menstruation, you're having menstrual pain, you're having PMS, you're having all of those things happening. So let them be able to come to you and ask you questions, and you should learn how to listen to them. I really felt like, I mean, if I had that kind of, my mom was great. She is great. She is amazing, of course. I mean, look at me. But I also feel like that's one thing that I would have really appreciated, because there were a lot of confusion that I just felt like, I had to go and seek for those answers somewhere else. And luckily for me, I had like, I don't know, a few friends that I had who were able to, point me in the right direction, and some did not, okay? There are some mentors I had that, story for another day. But yeah, so you should be your daughters, first. When something happens to them, the first person they want to talk to should not be their friend. The first person they want to talk to should not be their boyfriend. Let it be you. And when they come to you and tell you that, hey, and there's this boy that I like, don't rebuke them. Talk to them. Okay, you like the boy. Who is he? Where does he come from? Why do you like him? Why do you find him interesting? Okay, do you think that at this your age you are able to do a relationship? Will you be able to focus on your studies and everything? Can you invite the boy in and everything? See, parents, let me tell you something. When I was young, my mom was always on my neck. Which boy? You don't need to have a boyfriend. This and this and that. But I had boyfriends. I'm so like, you cannot stop it. It is inevitable. And I'm sure that even when they were younger, when they were teenagers, they also had boyfriends. I mean, how did they meet their husbands? They also had boyfriends. No matter how strict you are as a parent, all you are going to do is that you are going to block the child from talking to you, from communicating with you. Let them be able to approach you when they have anything bothering them, okay? And I feel like the next point is have an open mind. Have an open mind. When you're talking to a teenager, don't be so close-minded. Like I said, we know that you know what is best, okay? But let them explore. If a teenager comes to you and say, Mom, I don't want to be a doctor, and you feel like, I'm your mother, I know what is best for you, okay? Doctor is what all our generations have been, and doctor is what you will be. All you are doing is, not only are you killing the person's or your teenagers, morale or skills or even passion, you are killing their passion, but you're also not letting them, explore whatever they want to do. And I'm so grateful for my parents, or my mom, for instance. She has never been one to say that you have to be an accountant or a journalist or or a doctor, or a teacher, or a lawyer. Those were the jobs that were reigning in those days. But look at those jobs now. How many graduates of law do we have, especially in Nigeria, that they don't have a job? The careers that are reigning now are IT. They are social media, digital marketer, influencer, jobs that did not even exist when we were growing up, that we did not even know would exist. But with the advent of social media and digital media, so many new jobs are now the main jobs happening now. Now nobody knows. Tomorrow it might be football. Next tomorrow it might be anything. It might be drama. Whatever skills that your child have, even if you feel like, okay, if your child comes to you and say, I want to be a musician, you feel like this is not sustainable. Okay, enroll the person in a music school. Do all of this. I am supporting you to pursue your dream as a musician, but also focus on your studies. But when you say musician, are you all right? What do you mean by musician? And you shut the person off. That is where low self-esteem starts, because then they will not be able to approach you or to tell you about their plans, and then they grow up in the future and find out that they are unable to speak up when their mates are speaking up, because they are used to being shut down. Their ideas have been shut down by their parents repeatedly, and they are unable to, and now when they are an adult, they find it so hard to be able to express their ideas, because that's how they have grown. I don't feel like a lot of parents knows the psychological effect it has on your child when you are always shutting them off. You feel like it's just because they are children, they will grow out of it. Some of us never grow out of it, and it now takes a lot of work, training, going to therapy and all of those things to be able to redeem those damages that has been done to us when we were teenagers. So we need to be careful. Listen to them. Have an open mind. When they come to you and tell you, I want to talk to you about sex, listen to them. Listen to them, because I tell you, if you are not talking to them about sex and you are not letting them come to you and tell you when they have a boyfriend and all of those things, there's somebody out there who is willing to take them in the wrong direction. Okay, so let them talk to you, because like it or not, your teenager knows what sex means. In short, your child who is not yet a teenager knows what sex is, because it is everywhere. It is on the phone that they carry, and they take it everywhere they go to. So you need to be open-minded. Let them come to you. Let them talk to you. Let them, express their feelings and listen. Listen to them, okay? Like the next point is, don't be too hard on them. Don't be too hard on your teenagers. They are going to make mistakes. It is normal. Your teenage boy, see, whether you like it or not, boys are going to find your teenage daughter attractive, okay? So when they make mistakes, always let them be able to tell you, oh, I made a mistake. I'm not saying that you tolerate it. Let discipline be there. But as much as possible, also don't be too hard on them. And there's an adage in Yoruba that says that when you use your right hand to spank a child, you use the left hand to draw the child closer. I used to say that when I was a kid, most of the things I was beaten for, I don't know what I did. To be honest, there are times that I'm being beaten for something that I honestly don't know why I am being punished, but I just know that I've done something bad. I mean, for my parent to punish me, I must have done something bad, but I don't know what. Then tomorrow I repeat the same thing and I'm beaten, but nobody is telling me that this thing, don't do it. This instead of doing this, you should do this. Okay, so instead of always pointing out that, hey, why are you doing that? You are not supposed to do that. Don't go that place. Don't go to this place. Don't see that girl. Don't walk with that boy. Don't do this. Why not, instead of telling them don't tell them what they are supposed to be doing? And I feel like parents, we are too used to, spanking and disciplining and all of those things, so, and rebuking, that we don't actually take out the time to let them know that, okay, now, mom, you're asking me not to go out with this person. Why are you asking me not to go out with this person? Because I feel like, why are you questioning my authority and you're my mother? I said don't do it because I'm your mother and all of those things. And yes, you have the right. You are the one who brought us to life and everything. But if you want to have a relationship with your daughter, you have to sit her down. Explain things to her. Let her know that, okay, this person, this is the kind of life they are living. This is how I feel like it's going to influence you. And I don't want you working with that person. Teenagers are able to adjust more quickly if their parents are open to them about, their fears. But if you're telling me not to do this, but you're not telling me why, and instead of, and also you're not telling me what I'm supposed to be doing if I'm not doing this thing, it gets me a bit confused. Okay, so you need to be open-minded, when it comes to dealing with a teenager. Let them come to you. Listen to them and also give them advice. Discipline them when it's needed, okay? But even in your discipline, don't be too hard on them, okay? Let them be able to approach you. If a boy is coming to them and they tell you that, hey, I have a boyfriend, get to know the boy. Because whether you reject it or you accept it, they are still going to date the boy because they will go to school. You cannot monitor them from morning to night. Something is going to lead to something and they are going to get away. Parents think they are smart. Okay, and it's true. Most parents are smart. They're able to, get when their teenage daughter or teenager is, doing stuff. But to be honest, no matter how smart you are, with the world we are in right now, children will always find their way. And I also feel like one of the things that parents don't understand is that teenagers have a fear of disappointing their parents. When they do something wrong, they are always afraid. The first thing is that I don't want to disappoint my parents. But when a parent is always showing disappointment, like, I don't know, you are every time, you are always, you say stuff like you are a disappointment, you are too stubborn, you are too this, you are too that. That fear of the disappointment becomes rebellion because they feel like whatever I do, I'm still going to disappoint her. So why do I even bother? Okay, and they continue to do stuff to disappoint you. So as much as possible, don't be too hard on them. There's a lot of things that teenagers go through, including peer pressure. Their friends will pressure them into doing a lot of things. When I was a teenager, I had friends who were aborting pregnancies, friends who were having sex in school when we were in JSS. They were doing all of those things, and they were really close friends of mine. But nobody knows about it. I only know. And yes, there was pressure for me to also go and do all of those things that they were doing. Because I had a good relationship with God when I was growing up, I was able to, not that I didn't have peer pressure. There was a lot of peer pressure. But I had the Holy Spirit in me who really, really helped me, honestly, to navigate all of those issues, okay? So peer pressure is one of the most difficult things that teenagers pass through, because you want to belong. You want to belong to the big girls club. You want to belong to the happening club and everything, because a teenager needs a sense of belonging socially. And because of that, sometimes they lose their sense of identity because they are trying to conform to what is happening around them. Okay, that's why it is very important as a parent that you keep on reminding your children of who they are and who they are created to be. And that's the part of communication. That's the point about communication. Communicate with them. Listening is also part of communication, but also talking to them, advising them, not always commanding them. It is good to give them instructions. Do this and do this and do that. But most times, always try to have a conversation with them. Communication is not complete. I'm a communications person, but so I know that communication is not complete without feedback. If you don't get feedback from the person you're talking to, the communication is not complete, because you don't know if the person got the message, or if the person was hearing you, or even if the person heard you, if it was what you were saying that the person understood. Okay, so feedback is a part of communication. So when I talk about communication, I'm talking about a two-way communication. They are talking to you, and you are also talking to them. You are listening to what they are saying, and you are giving them your thoughts. You are advising them. You are giving them feedback. Not every time you are commanding them, I never want to see you with that boy again. It's not magic, my sister, because you are saying I shouldn't be with the boy, but all my body, everything inside of me is telling me that I should be with the boy, and you are telling me not to be with the boy. Like, it's a struggle. It's a struggle. I don't want to disappoint you, but there's these hormones in my body also that wants me to be with the boy. So you need to be able to help me understand. Give me logical reasons why not being with this boy is best for me, so that I'll be able to put my body under subjection. Okay, so you need to learn how to communicate. Be open-minded. Everything I'm talking about still deals with communication, because that is it. That is it. A teenager who is always throwing tantrums, who is stealing from you, who is, just doing stuff, most likely is just wanting attention. They want you to talk to them, to listen to them, to be open-minded, to hear their ideas, to appreciate them, which is the next point. Learn to appreciate them. Don't always be the person who is always telling them what they are doing wrong, and the day they do it right, you don't appreciate them. That's one thing I really love my mom for. I remember when I was a child, trust me, I was not an easy child. Out of all the 3 children my mother gave birth to, everybody around us, when we grew up, will tell you that Big Damola, that's what they used to call me. That is still my name. That is my name. Damola is like the worst of all my mother's children. My mother will tell you, growing up, I was not an easy child. I was very rebellious, because I always say that because I was not the first child, I didn't have it. The first child always has all the attention. She's the first baby and everything. The second child, I was the second child, and I was the second girl. So there was nothing new about me. Then the last born was also the first boy. So I felt like the attention was on the first and the last, and me, I was just left on my own. And because of that, I was always doing stuff to get attention for myself. So give your children the attention that they need. Appreciate them. But my mom, whenever she corrects me, which she did a lot, because I always needed correction, she beats me a lot. That's what I'm trying to say. But every time that she beats me, she does stuff, but I know that the day that I do something good, is it that she gives me money. There are times that I remember when I was a kid, when I clean, sometimes I'll just wake up and I will sweep all the house, I will clean and everything, and my mom will come, she'll give me 100 naira, or she'll give me something, just something to show that I appreciate what you did. Guess what? Next week, I want to do better. Okay, so those are some of the ways to make sure that in as much as you are repelling them, you are also appreciating them when they are doing something right. Okay, and part of appreciation is reinforcing who they are, reinforcing that you are proud of them, and let them know that you are loved, you are cherished, you are beautiful, which is also one of the challenges that we face growing up. When I was growing up, I did not like myself, because I had a flat back, I had a flat front, I was so tiny, and I had friends who were always reminding me. I shared that when I was talking about body shaming. If you have not watched that video, the link is up here. I shared about how my struggles when I was growing up with friends and everything, and what they used to say to me, and how it affected my self-esteem and everything. Now, if as a parent, you need to be the voice in your children's head, letting them know that you are beautiful the way you are. You are beautiful. Don't let any man or anybody deceive you. Because the truth is, if you don't tell them, they are going to look for it from somebody else. And that person is most likely a boy. Especially if it's a teenage girl. So you need to let them know that you are pretty, you are beautiful, you are intelligent. You might not be the first in the class, but that does not mean that you have to stay there. Even if your child is coming last, let them know that you can do better, you can be better, you can, reinforcing words of affirmation to them really, really, really goes a long way. Please make sure that you do that. Okay, so call them out when they make mistakes. Call them out. Let them know this thing you did is wrong. But when they do things right, don't forget to celebrate their wins. Don't forget to celebrate them. If they come with the first class, or maybe last term they came second, this time they came first, make sure that you, even if it's a little gesture, even if it's a cake you buy, even if it's just a card you buy to say, I am proud of you. I am proud of you. I know you can do better. You make me proud and everything. Make sure that you do that. Make sure they know that you love them, because trust me, teenagers are confused, and sometimes they interpret your tough love as you hating them, as you not liking them. So you need to let them know, I love you, you are great, you will do great. When they make a mistake and you correct them, call them, tell them that the reason I corrected you is not because I hate you. Yes, I don't like what you did, but I love you and I will always love you. So always make sure you do that. And I think the last point, I'm going to end here because this video is getting too long. Focus on the problem and not the symptoms. you know, we all know that when something is wrong inside of you, you start having symptoms. Maybe you have malaria or something. The symptoms is you are sweating, you are having fever, you know, all of those are symptoms. So when your child is being rebellious, when your child is stealing, when your child is you know, doing some things that they usually don't do, okay, don't focus on the things that they are doing. Focus on, why is my child doing this? What is the issue? Why is she? No child is born stubborn from above. No teenager brought stubbornness from heaven. No. Okay, sometimes they are passing through some things and they just need somebody to talk to. That's why they are acting out. So don't focus too much on the symptoms. Focus on what exactly is the root cause of this issue. Why is she behaving this way? Why has she suddenly become rude? And you get those things by communicating with them. Okay, I cannot overemphasize the essence or the need for you to communicate with your teenager. And the last point, I'm going to end here because this video has become longer than I expected. The last point is that, please, parents, learn to apologize. You heard me. Learn to apologize. A lot of parents don't like apologizing to their children because they feel like they are the parents. They are never wrong. They can never be wrong. And when they now become wrong, they don't tell them they are sorry. You need to learn how to apologize, especially when you wrongfully accuse them of something. Parents, learn to apologize. It is a form of mutual respect. Trust me. A teenager wants to hear that, okay, I made a mistake and I am not ashamed to admit it. If you don't let them know that it is okay for them to own up to their mistakes, if you don't show it to them, you know, they are also not going to show it to you. People will most likely learn from what you do, not what you say, especially your teenagers. So they learn from your life. If you are a person who, when you accuse them wrongly or when you do something wrong, you let them know, okay, I'm sorry. I remember this particular example. We were driving with a very close family of mine, and, you know, I think the mom always tells the children that don't, you know, the mom is the kind of person that would always say stuff like, you know, when people cross traffic lights, you know, it is wrong. She'll be teaching her children, don't do that, don't do that. And on this particular Sunday, we're going to church, and the mom crossed a traffic light, and the daughter was saying that, mom, you always say that it is wrong, and it is, you know, I won't call the name of the insult, people that, you know, that don't wait for traffic lights. Why did you not wait for traffic light? You also are one of those people. Now, the approach the child did was wrong, because calling your mother that name because she said the people, like, that was so wrong. And even I corrected that you're not supposed to say such a thing to your mom. But to be honest, that was what the mom told her. So what are you supposed to do? Of course, the mom took it to her. Who are you to tell me that? But you are the one teaching your children not to do those things, and then you do it. When you make a mistake, own up to it. I am sorry, we are running late. I shouldn't have done that. I will never do that again. You want to leave a good example for them. It starts by what you do, not just by what you say. Like, I can never forget that example in my life, and it really, really taught me a very good lesson. Children listen. They listen and they know. When you do something wrong, they will call you out and say, Mom, you told us that we should not do this. Why are you doing it? Okay? Apologize. Tell them it is wrong, so that you don't justify your wrongness. And then say that, and then beat them when they are not accepting the things that they did wrong. Okay, so those are some of the things that I feel like I have a lot of things to say, and I think maybe I'll do a part 2 of this video. But I feel like it is very, very important that we all take note of this. Your teenagers are human beings too. You don't own your children. Take it or leave it. One day they are going to leave you. Now, whether or not after they leave your house, whether you have a relationship with them or not in the future, it depends on how you nurture your relationship with them now. Okay, so do that, nurture it, make sure that they know, reinforce it, be open-minded, listen to them, communicate with them. Don't be too hard on them, okay, and every other thing that we've spoken on today. Like I said, maybe I'll be doing a video with a friend about, you know, teenage boys. I'll probably be doing a collaboration with a guy, about how to deal with your teenage boys. But this is basically for your teenage daughter. So I hope this has been helpful to you. If it has, again, subscribe to my channel. Click the subscribe button now and subscribe to this channel if it has been helpful to you. Make sure that you share this video to every parent that needs to hear this, okay? Make sure that you share this video, and also make sure that you give this video a thumbs up, like the video, click the button video and like. And please let me know if there's any other thing that you think that parents should take note, or we should talk about maybe in the part 2. Please put it in the comment section below. I would really, really appreciate that. Also, I want to ask if there's any other videos that you think, you know, would make this channel more interactive, or any other videos that you would like me to do more of, okay? Please make sure you put it in the comment section. I'll truly, truly appreciate you. Thank you guys so very much. I know this has been long, but thank you for sticking with me to this time. I am so grateful. Please remember to subscribe, to like, to share, and to leave a comment. Thank you guys so very much. Again, my name is Victoria. Victoria Ajayi Bembe, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye bye.